Hello, I'm Steven the Calculator Guy, and today we're going to talk about Revert Finance. Huge shout out to Mario from Revert for walking me through this platform and helping me understand it. Once I did understand it, I couldn't have been more excited to make a video about it because it is a super awesome tool. So let's just dive right in. There are three major parts of this tool. It's also a protocol, but I'm going to talk mostly about the tool part here. And maybe I'll do a future video on the protocol aspect. So the tool part has initiator, top positions, and incentives. We're going to start with initiator, which allows you to back test Uniswap v3 positions, which is amazing. And it does it in a way that I think is the most intuitive and arguably the best in DeFi. So also not a sponsor, I just like the tool and was super grateful for the team for speaking with me. So you choose your network and then you choose your pair. So I've chosen Optimistic Ethereum and I wanted to look at the Wrapped Ethereum USDC pair. Now, once you've done that, what you want to do is look for a fee tier that has a good fee to reserve ratio. The best one is technically the 0.01, however, there's a lot of flatness and the reserve is tiny, so you want a little bit more reserve. So here we have 6 million. This is good. You can see this is pretty decent, and the fee reserve is better than the other competitors. So I'm going to click on this one because I think this is probably going to get us the best APY. And then we have, look at that tiny range. What is that? Then we have to select the price range. So we need to select this in USDC. Now, what I really like about this tool is not this, because we've all seen this. If you've done Uniswap v3 before, you've sort of, moved your minimum price to the left, and you've moved your max price to the right to try to capture all this liquidity. Something like that, right? And that's all fine and dandy. But what this tool up here does, maybe I can move my gigantic head, is it allows you to look into the past and see on this sort of line chart where the price has been previously. And so, you can go back as far as December to see how the price has been and if you would have captured any movement within that price range. Now, I want to capture this movement right here, starting from sort of beginning of May to now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this a little bit down to maybe 2300 is good, but maybe let's do 2250. And then 2250, good. And then on the bottom, I might move it down a little bit lower, maybe 1000. That way we're sort of capturing the bottom there. I could move it down a little bit more, maybe, yeah. That's a good range to me. You can't see because my head's in the way, but this looks like a nice, good concentrated liquidity range for now. Now, once you've done that, it is time to back test. So I'm going to throw in $1,000. Oh, sorry, $1,000 of USDC as a back testing example. I'm not actually going to use money, and then I'm going to click Run Back Test. Now you can actually approve and then initiate your position. You can open your position right from here if you want to, but I'm going to run the back test instead. So it has to think for a little bit, but not very long, and then it will back test. So APR versus holding 40%. Now, what does that mean, right? So holding assumes that you're holding 50% Ethereum, Wrapped Ethereum, and 50% USDC. So had you just held those two assets, you would have missed out on $51 in profit. And then this is today, which is August 19th, which is like the day of the dip, where we're down pretty dramatically on assets, right? We can look at a quick chart just to see, like, even with the charts the way they are, which I think adds some important context, you would still be up $51 as opposed to holding. Yeah, we had this gigantic red candle today. So, oh man, look at that. It's right at the fib line. But TA doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. So, look at that. It stopped right there, too. By the way, I threw this fib up, like, I don't know, weeks ago, and look how well it is just, like, staying by these lines. It's quite amazing, actually. And I haven't touched TradingView for a while because everything I do is delta neutral. But anyways, back to here. So positive despite the past 30 days, right? If we went 30 days ago, let's see, 18th, looking at the 18th of last month. So the 18th of last month, we were here. So we were actually up higher by about $300. So we're down $300 on Ethereum, and and yet we're still positive versus holding. So that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. And you can see like versus just holding ETH. Had we only held ETH, we'd actually be down. This is surprising to me, actually. And if we just held, so ETH means we just held $2,000 of ETH. In this case, it's $2,000 of USDC. Had we just held $2,000 of USDC, in comparison, we would be up by $117. So I like that you can run these different scenarios. And now I'm going to make this a tighter range. So I'm going to go back to hold, and I'm going to make this a little bit more relevant for the last 30 days. So let's reduce this to 2,000. And increase this to, I don't know, let's do 1,200. I think that's a reasonable range. You can see we've increased our APR by about 19%, and we've increased our P&L by about 50%, right? We were at $50, now we're at $75. That's a pretty remarkable increase. Okay, so this is a fun tool you can play around with. I really like it. I think it's quite amazing. And again, this is on optimistic Ethereum right here, but you can change this to like, let's say we want to do Polygon with STmatic and USDC, which is one of the most poppin' pairs right now because of all the Lido incentives. While this loads, I'll show you over here the Uniswap v3 top positions. So this is the second tab, and the cool thing about this is that you get to see all of these incredible positions and how they perform and the ridiculous APRs and things like that. But what you really want to understand is that when you have low values, you're getting bad numbers. This could have been someone entered with $3,200. They exited with that, and the fees went crazy, but they didn't make a profit, and no one really did. So this is kind of nonsense information. How do you get rid of the nonsense information? You click filters, and what I do is I do the position value, and I start at around $10,000. That way you're less likely to have accidental positions. And then position age, I do 10 days. That way we get some pretty decent, robust information that you can trust a little bit longer term than just looking at these sort of nonsense numbers. So with this, we're going to see some slightly more robust positions. Now, note, a few of these are out of range. Again, we took a gigantic red candle down recently. So I imagine that's why a few of these are out of range, because they were pretty tight positions. Regardless, we still have, the names of some of these coins. We still have some decent, interesting pairs that are doing really well. I hate to even say the L word. Gala, SHIB. Now, what I do want to point out here is that the P&L and the APR is versus holding. So if you were looking at like USDC fold, for example, this profit or this APR is versus holding 50% USDC and 50% fold. If you wanted to see how it performed versus just having the USDC, you'd have to go into the initiator and then run those numbers like we just did before. So let's look at Polygon and see what kind of positions they have there. Let's run the same filters. Good. Let's see. We have Bitcoin USDC. This one's surprising. 35 days in range with an APR of 71%. This seems like quite the catch. So I might click on that, and then I would look at the analytics associated to sort of see what's going on there. Now, I can't really tell you everything there is to understand about these analytics because, truth be told, they do get rather advanced. And you can see liquidity distribution is within this price range. I don't know why it's so scrunched. And then here's the actual price over time, over this 30-day, from December until now. Volume, so all of that sort of makes sense. And you can see price divergence. Price divergence is probably the most important thing, because what that tells you is how much the asset has diverted over time, up to 52% in difference since December. So then you can look at the most profitable positions. Now, you have to understand that when you have a position open for 3 days, that it is probably, there are a few things that could happen, right? Probably it's a bot that is opening and closing positions with great rapidity. And as soon as it goes out of the range, it just sort of repositions. And so these shouldn't be taken very seriously. But when you see positions that have a pretty wide range and are still doing pretty well, right? And these have been open this is the one right here, right? 32.5 days. This is an excellent position. I think this is really cool. Ironically, has a very small position size, but this is a good range. So, this is how you can sort of look and choose and sort of pick out positions and think like, is this one I want to open? And if so, you should be able to click on it, the specific position. Right, here we go, and get even more analytics on that position. So that's pretty cool. And you can even click add liquidity here to add liquidity to this position range. And yeah, so this tool is really, really incredible, and I can't really overstate how cool this tool is. Okay, so let's go over to incentives. Now this is sort of the last tab. Now here, what we see is the incentive programs on Ethereum and Polygon, which is really cool. The start date of the incentive programs, the end date. So this is where people like Lido or like CTX will go and pay people additionally for doing liquidity on Uniswap v3 for their assets like TCAP or NFTK or STmatic on Polygon. So what this allows you to do as an investor is see, okay, I can see how much I would have gotten fee revenue. Are there any incentives on this really interesting pool? And sure enough, there are for things like USDC STmatic or USDC wrapped Ethereum. And, well, maybe not, but it's amazing, right? So you can go farm these additional incentives until September 1st, and there's a non-zero chance Lido extends these incentives because Lido has been incentivizing like everything so much. Shout out to Lido. So anyways, with these sort of three tabs combined, I think that Revert Finance is one of the coolest tools related to Uniswap v3 in all of DeFi. And so, go check it out. It's a free tool, which is mind-blowing. The way they make money, which is something that I had to know because I didn't, I was like, you shouldn't be doing this for free. It's too cool. What they said is the protocol portion of this actually auto-compounds positions, and they take a very small performance fee. It's like a 2% performance fee, which is insane. It might be slightly more than that, but it's so low because performance fees across DeFi are like 8 to 10%. Cough cough, beefy cough cough, and the fact that their performance fee is so low and like half of the performance fee is actually used for the gas required to compound, it's just like this is a team of humble, brilliant builders, and I want to do anything I can to support them. So this tool is something that I will personally definitely be using. Again, they are not a sponsor. I just genuinely mean that. It's a cool tool, and yeah, I love it, and I hope that they do well. But do your own research, of course. Look into their audits and things like that. Don't invest blindly. But this is genuinely a neat product, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. One thing I want to point out is that Hamora, in the same vein as Uniswap v3, has finally launched on Optimistic Ethereum. You can sort of see the obscenely high yields that they're offering on their pairs, ETH DAI, ETH USDC, and then USDC DAI. Well, this isn't obscenely high. This is sort of par for the course. And in fact, you can get higher APRs on stables just by going over to lend. You could lend DAI at 20%. By the way, this is all done through Iron Bank, as far as I know, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, so, if you wanted to sort of backtest these positions, you would like go farm 3.14x. All of these APRs are the base APR, the APR you get before leverage. You would maybe want to click on this range, right? You see, okay, 1305 to 2208. You would then go over to the initiator, we just did this. It's kind of a bummer that we're going backwards. This is Ethereum, is it USDC? Yeah, so we're already looking at this one. Ethereum USDC. Hopefully it's not, it might be wrapped Ethereum. We'll see if this allows us to get the data we want. It does, cool. So do they tell us the fee tier? I believe they do. Yeah, 0.05, which of course they would use because that's by far the best. Then they're saying the range here is 1305 to 2208. Throw that in there, 1305. And isn't it cool we can use tools together? To 2208. Okay, what's going on here? 220. Oh, 1305. That's why. To 2208. There. All right. So that's the range that they're using. You can see kind of tight range here. Then backtest. $10,000. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're just backtesting. I could do 100. I just like $1,000. Okay, so over the past 30 days, they're targeting 57%. Now, Hamora is targeting 80%. So I want to see, this is historical APR for the past 24 hours. That's important to know. Oh, head's in the way. So, you know, I love this, right? We have Hamora, which is telling us this 80.93%, which looks amazing. But once we contextualize it by going over to Revert and putting in those numbers and looking at the past 30 days, we see that the base APR is actually somewhere around 57%, which is great that we can still leverage that up, but we at least get a more realistic idea of what to expect with our APRs. So I don't know, man. The more tools that I find in DeFi, like the happier and more excited I get about this space, and like the ability to expand our due diligence and you know, understand our yield. So anyways, if you want to join the smartest DeFi Discord on the planet, please do join the DeFi Dojo. Launch pass in the description. I'm not going to shill it. You guys already know what it is. It is the best place in Discord. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out Revert Finance, Uniswap v3 tool, as well as protocol. You can open positions there. You can auto compound your positions there for some of the lowest performance fees that I've ever seen. And they also give you analytics. Like I'm going to open a position and I'll do a second video on this because the analytics they give you on your position are obscene. They're just so cool. So that's it. Thanks for watching this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day.